الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا وفقها في الدين يا رب العالمين وألحقنا بعبادك الصالحين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا وفقها في الدين يا رب العالمين وألحقنا بعبادك الصالحين. اللهم فقهنا في الدين، اللهم فقهنا في الدين، اللهم فقهنا في الدين، آمين يا رب العالمين. يقول الله عز وجل: ومن يطع الله والرسول فأولئك مع الذين أنعم الله عليهم من النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين وحسن أولئك رفيقا ذلك الفضل من الله وكفى بالله عليما. Those that have the books, inshallah, turn to page 25. We'll start the book immediately so we don't spend extra time. We'll see that all the hadith notifications and all the how they authenticate the hadith, we'll understand from the way the muhaddith does it himself. Okay, the Allama Nimawi. So the first hadith we have here, now, because it's a fiqhi book, it's like a sunan book, you have to know which hadith is for you and which hadith is against you. Okay, that's what you have to sift out first. As a student of knowledge, you have to sift out if this hadith is for you or against you. So the first hadith, the Babul Miyah, the chapter of waters, or the types of waters that are allowed for purification. We're on the chapter of purification, Babul Tahara. Okay, this is the chapter of Tahara. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يبولن أحدكم في الماء الدائم الذي لا يجري ثم يغتسل فيه رواه الجماعة. The first hadith is narrated on the authority of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, that the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he prohibited from urinating in water that is still, that is not moving, not flowing, not moving. Then, so first of all, you're not allowed to urinate in a water that is not moving, that is not flowing. Secondly, a person is not allowed to have ghusl therein. Okay. Secondly, a person is not allowed to make ghusl from that water. If that amount of water, of course, now we'll go into the fiqh discussion. The fiqh discussion will say very summarized, because hadith, the whole discussion here is hadith discussions. Okay, we're going to talk about narrators. We're going to be talking about jarh wa ta'dil. We're going to be talking about many other things. Okay. Now the fiqh discussions, I'm going to try to keep it to a bare minimum, just so that we can understand the hadith. Okay. في الماء الدائم الذي لا يجري ثم يغتسل فيه. Now, the quantity of water comes in. What is considered as small quantity of water and what is considered as large amount of water. Meaning that water which, if impurities were to fall in, that the water would become spoilt. You won't be allowed to make wudu, you won't be allowed to make ghusl from that water. Okay? Is that understood? So here, he clearly prohibits from a person urinating in that water and then making ghusl from that water. Here we understand it is small amount of water. Okay, it's a large pond, massive pond, huge pond, yeah, then it would be a different case. Okay, but here it's referring to a small amount of water. According to the Hanafi jurists, they say 10 by 10, 10 arm lengths by 10 arm lengths. This is the minimum amount, meaning you can say like 9 meters by 9 meters, more or less, approximately 9 meters times 9 meters, and the depth of it should be to the extent that take 2 handfuls of water out, then the beneath part of the water, the under part of the water, must not be seen. This is in all the Hanafi works. Okay. So Rawahul Jama'ah, here this Jama'ah, Allama Nimawi, he's got certain different terminologies that he uses, and as we go along, we'll understand how he uses them. So here Rawahul Jama'ah, the whole group narrated, refers to Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, Nasa'i, Ibn Majah, and Imam Ahmad. Okay? So when he says Rawahul Jama'ah here, you must remember that it refers here to all 7, not just 6 books, all 7 books. He includes Imam Ahmad's book as well. Okay, Musnad Imam Ahmad. So this hadith is narrated in all the Sahih Sittah, Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi, Abu Dawud, Nasa'i, Ibn Majah, plus Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal's Musnad. Okay? The next hadith, so here there's not much discussion in the sense that there's no ikhtilaf. Everyone agrees on this. Everyone agrees on this hadith, in the meaning of the hadith as well as the authenticity of the hadith is established, without a doubt. وعن جابر بن عبد الله رضي الله عنه عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه نهى أن يبال في الماء الراكد رواه مسلم. Again, similar wording, but here rakid, just an extra emphasis that it's stagnant water, not running water. Okay, not running water. This hadith is narrated in Muslim. Of course, we already spoke about the conditions of what Imam Nimawi said. He said, if a hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim, I'll just leave it, because there's no need for me to authenticate and prove that this hadith is sahih, because it's in Bukhari and Bukhari and Muslim are agreed upon by the whole ummah, by the whole scholarship of all 14 centuries. Alhamdulillah. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله, the third hadith. So the second hadith is very similar in the meaning. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إذا شرب الكلب في إناء أحدكم فليغسله 7 رواه الشيخان. Here Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, if a dog drinks from a container of water, then you must wash it 7 times. This comes in Bukhari and Muslim. Rawahu Shaykhan refers to, the 2 sheikhs reported it, refers to Bukhari and Muslim. Now, this hadith, you'll see the hadith that is coming on the authority of Abu Hurairah again in the coming chapters. Abu Hurairah says something else. Okay, I'm gonna leave that discussion when we go there, inshallah. Okay, the point is here, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, we deem that the water, the discussion why Imam Nimawi brought this hadith here in this, under this chapter, under this title, is to prove that the water left by the dog is absolutely najis, impure, filthy, not allowed to use. That leftover water, so for example, a dog came and licked a bucket, there was a bucket full of water. A dog came and licked that bucket full of water, that whole bucket would become najis. It will be absolutely impermissible for you to use for wudu or for ghusl or for anything else. وعنه, so this is referring to Abu Hurairah again. وعنه قال جاء رجل إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال يا رسول الله إنا نركب البحر ونحمل معنا القليل من الماء فإن توضأنا به عطشنا أفنتوضأ من ماء البحر فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم هو الطهور ماؤه والحل ميتته رواه مالك وآخرون وإسناده صحيح. Here this hadith is also reported by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. A companion came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and he said, normally we go for trips on the sea. We go for trips, journeys, safar on the sea. So when we go, normally we only hold that much of drinking water which is sufficient for drinking only. Normally we don't hold excessive amount of water on top of the ship, which is sweet water to drink. So therefore, we come in a hard situation basically. Can we use the ocean water, the sea water, salty water? Can we use that water to make wudu? So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam replied, "Huwa at-tahuru ma'uhu wal-hillu maytatuhu." The water of the ocean and the sea is absolutely pure, and whatever is inside the ocean as well, whatever is even dead inside the ocean is also permissible. Okay, meaning everything inside the ocean is permissible. Now here, there's a different understanding according to the madhabs, of course, we all know this. According to the Hanafis, we interpret this as only fish. Whatever is inside the ocean is permissible. According to us, it's only restricted to fish. Anything other than fish, we do not say they are permissible to eat. okay, like crabs and all those other things. I don't want to go into the fiqh discussion again. And this hadith is reported in Muwatta Imam Malik, Abu Dawood, Nasa'i, and the transmission of this hadith we're going to speak about, inshallah. So Imam Abu Hanifa's opinion here, if you go to point number 6 on page number 26 at the bottom, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmad's opinion is based on the apparent meaning of this hadith, meaning everything inside the ocean is absolutely what you call halal, and وَالطَّهُورُ مَاؤُهُ, the seawater is absolutely permissible. Whereas, this is referring to the kalb. This is referring to the hadith before it. So it's referring to hadith number 3 on the authority of Abu Hurairah, where it mentions about the dog. That if it drinks from any container of water, then you must wash it 7 times. That's what the hadith says in Bukhari and Muslim. Now here, Imam Abu Hanifa's opinion is not that. Okay? So now we go into a conflict, isn't it? Now, where does Imam Abu Hanifa bring his hadith from? Okay? And now, when he brings the hadith, it has to be super authentic, because it's going against Bukhari and Muslim hadith, isn't it? So now let's see, inshallah. So Imam Abu Hanifa's opinion is, it is sufficient to wash as many times as needed, as long as the najasa is gone. As long as the najasa is removed. As long as the impurity and filth is removed completely. His opinion is, it can be done 3 times, it can be done 5 times, it can be done 7 times, it can be done more than 7 times. There's no problem. There's no ishkal there. But the point is, removing the remnants of the saliva is the issue. Okay? Why? Because there's many narrations that mention 3, there's many narrations that mention 5, there's many narrations that mention 7. So are you going to completely neglect the narrations that mention 3 and 5 and just take the one that says 7? There you go. You're going to be negating many ahadith. Whereas Imam Abu Hanifa's opinion is such that it includes all the ahadith. It includes 3, it includes 5, and it includes the 7. Okay? It includes all the ahadith mentioned on the topic. Khair. So now, Imam Abu Hanifa, his dalil, his proof, his evidence is found in Daraqutni, the Sunan of Daraqutni. He says here, the vessel should be washed 3 times when licked by a dog. And this itself, this narration in Daraqutni itself, is authenticated by Imam Bukhari himself. Muhammad bin Ismail, he himself authenticated this narration. Then Ibn Daqiq al-Eid and many others refuted the notion that Imam Bukhari, he gathered all the Sahih hadiths in his Bukhari Sharif, in his Sahih al-Bukhari. This is not the case. And very clearly here he mentions al-Bukhari, Ibn Daqiq al-Eid, one of the 7th century great scholars of the Shafi'i madhab. He says, al-Bukhari did not intend to incorporate all Sahih hadiths in his Sahih compilation. So yes, it has a certain number of Sahih hadiths, but Imam Bukhari's intention was not to include all the Sahih hadiths that exist in all the books of hadith and all the chains of narrations. Okay? Is that understood? Meaning, the hadiths inside Sahih Bukhari and Muslim are 100% authentic, but they're not all the Sahih hadiths. There's more Sahih hadiths in many other books that doesn't exist in Bukhari and Muslim. Is that understood? Okay? I just want to make that clear before going on. And then Imam Tirmidhi, the student of Imam al-Bukhari, what does he say about this narration of Daraqutni? He says that this hadith is Hasanun Sahih. Hasanun Sahih. Hasanun Sahih can be interpreted 2 ways. According to Ibn Hajar, he says Hasanun Sahih according to because the only muhaddith in history that used this term of Hasanun Sahih. Hasan, you can say an Sahih, or you can say Hasan or Sahih. Okay? Because Ibn Hajar, according to his research, it means aw. It can be Hasan according to some ulama, and it can be Sahih according to other ulama. Is that understood? That's one interpretation of when Imam Tirmidhi says هذا حديث حسن صحيح. Okay? So Hasanun aw Sahihun. It can be Hasan or it can be Sahih. Whereas Ibn Kathir, according to his understanding and his research, he says it implies that it is slightly lower than Sahih, but higher than Hasan. When he says Hasan on Sahih, that the hadith is Hasan and Sahih, or Hasan or Sahih, he says that it is of a higher category than that of Hasan, but it's a lower category than that of Sahih. So in between those two. So whichever terminology that you take, okay? According to Ibn Hajar, Hasanun Sahih means it can be Hasan or Sahih. Whereas Ibn Kathir is saying, no, it's a category above Hasan, but below Sahih. In between there. This Imam Tirmidhi's. Imam Tirmidhi. His rating, yeah. So the explanation the ulama are giving, they're saying, when Imam Tirmidhi says his terminology of Hasanun Sahih, what does it mean? Does it mean Hasan or does it mean Sahih? So Ibn Hajar, he comes and he says, it means Hasan as well as Sahih. But to some ulama it's Hasan and to some ulama it's Sahih. Because again, ijtihad in hadith narrators is ijtihadi thing. It's a thing which is to do with ijtihad. Okay? It's not a definitive thing which everyone agrees upon that grading. Okay? It's an ijtihadi thing. So that's that, inshallah. So according to Daraqutni, it is Sahih. According to Imam Tirmidhi, it is Sahih. And according to Imam Bukhari himself, it is Sahih. Okay? So here we have three of the giants of Islam authenticating this hadith, that if a dog licks a utensil containing water or any liquid, then it must be washed 3 times, not 7 times, 3 times. Okay? So we take this hadith. We'll take this hadith, and it's not that we neglect the other hadith. We don't neglect the other hadith. The 7 times hadith, we don't neglect it. Okay? Many students might think we neglect the other hadith. No. That's a complete mistake. We say the minimum is 3 times. Meaning, but you can do it more than 7 times. You can act upon the 7 times as well, because the maqsad of the hadith, the aim and the goal of the hadith is that the najasa be removed. Now, whether it takes 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, that doesn't matter. Okay? You can give it inside the washing machine. Khalas, is good. Nowadays, that doesn't even apply to us. Yes. Sunan.
So from is the Imam Bukhari in the narrated? Index.
Imam?
So the hadith that you're referring to,
yeah, the hadith itself is in Daraqutni.
So is Imam in that the actual chain of narration?
No. Imam Bukhari, he authenticated that narration.
Okay. He's not in the chain of narration.
No. Because Imam Bukhari won't be inside the chain of narration, because Imam Daraqutni, he's narrating this hadith. Imam Daraqutni, he's narrating the hadith from his sanad. Okay? He's an Imam of Jarh wa Ta'dil, one of the great Imams of Jarh wa Ta'dil. He's narrating in his book through his chain. Imam Bukhari only said that this chain is authentic. So Imam Bukhari we only use to understand the authenticity of the chain. So Imam Tirmidhi, you'll see in his book, in his Sunan al-Tirmidhi or Jami' al-Tirmidhi, there he'll make comments like Muhammad bin Ismail said this hadith is sahih, or this hadith is ma'lul, or this hadith is mudtarib, or this hadith is whatever, there's a mudallas inside the hadith, mudallis inside the hadith. So he only takes those comments of Imam al-Bukhari regarding the sanad, regarding the authenticity of the sanad. So now the reason why we mention this is because Imam Bukhari authenticated this hadith, which is narrated in Sunan al-Daraqutni. He himself authenticated it, but he didn't bring it in his own book. So therefore, it clearly mentions, as well as Imam Bukhari in the Muqaddimah himself mentioning, that his maqsad was not to gather all the Sahih hadiths in his book. Okay? There are other Sahih hadiths that he himself authenticates in Tirmidhi. Imam Tirmidhi says, I brought these hadiths and it's authenticated by my Ustad Imam Bukhari, but he didn't bring it in his Sahih. You understand? He boasts with those hadiths. Imam Tirmidhi boasts with those hadiths that his Ustad authenticated, which his Ustad didn't have inside his book, but Imam Tirmidhi brought it in his book. SubhanAllah. So then we go on to, inshallah, the next hadith. The next hadith is another one, okay? It's another one. So this is also وعن عبد الله بن عمر رضي الله عنه قال سئل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن الماء وما ينوبه من الدواب والسباع فقال إذا كان الماء قلتين لم يحمل الخبث رواه الخمسة وآخرون وهو حديث معلول. Here you'll see, subhanallah, this hadith is narrated on the authority of Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu, the son of Umar radiallahu anhu. He says that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was asked about water which creatures, which animals frequented back and forth towards that water. He said, is that water pure? Can we use that water, basically? There's predatory animals, there's creatures. Then here Rasulullah replied, إِذَا كَانَ الْمَاءُ قُلَّتَيْن لَمْ يَحْمِلْ الْخَبَثِ. If the water is 2 qulla, then that water cannot become impurified. Meaning it can't be impure. It cannot be made filthy. Meaning this is considered a large quantity of water. Now, here it says qullatain. Qullatain is like a measure. I don't know the exact measure. Okay, I haven't gone into the books of the Shafi. This is the dalil for the Shafi madhab. Okay, by the way, those who don't know, this is dalil for the Shafi madhab. Now, Allama Nimawi says this hadith is ma'lul. Ma'lul here refers to this hadith has deficiencies and weaknesses from different angles. Not just one angle, it has deficiencies from many angles. This hadith. So why does it have deficiencies from many angles? And this hadith is weakened by the way, Ismail al-Qadi. If you go to footnote number 8, Ismail al-Qadi, Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi al-Maliki. This is the Maliki scholar. Okay, he's buried in Fez, in Fas. Okay, Fez. Those who visited Morocco, Fez, the land of the awliya. So Ibn al-Arabi al-Maliki, he was one of the greatest scholars of the 4th century of Islam. Very early scholar, absolutely amazing scholar. You look at his sharh on Tirmidhi, there's no sharh like it. There's no sharh like it. A Maliki can only explain Tirmidhi like that. Allahu Akbar. I read it once and I was so amazed. I was baffled at the explanation, the way he gave it. Especially on the hadith of Jariyah. Sorry, on the hadith of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala coming down in the last portion of the night. On that hadith, he refutes the Salafi notion in totality, in absolute totality. He brings questions and answers like three full pages. I was reading from the beginning to the end. I had to. This is a scholar from the 4th century. It's not today. It's 1,000 years ago. He's refuting exact hubahu arguments. Exact. This, if they say this, we say this. If they say this, we say this. If they say this, we say this. All 3-4 pages like that, non-stop. Allahu Akbar. So all these arguments that come about with these newcomers, this isn't new. Okay, this isn't new. All these arguments have been rebutted and refuted long time ago, 1,000 years ago, approximately. Anyway, let's carry on here. So here, as we can see, this narration is deemed weak according to all these scholars. Ismail al-Qadi, Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi al-Maliki, Ibn Abd al-Barr al-Maliki is another great scholar of the early 4th, 5th century here. This is even before Imam Ghazali. This is even before Imam Ghazali was born. Ibn Taymiyyah as well as al-Mahdi. I'm not sure which Mahdi this is referring to. And Ibn al-Qayyim, in his notes on Abu Dawood, he forcefully rejects this hadith and this narration. Okay? This hadith, Ibn al-Qayyim forcefully rejects this hadith. Abdul Rashid al-Nu'mani in his Tarikh Tadwin al-Hadith, he says those scholars who had the practice of the Aslaf, predecessors in days gone by declared this hadith to be rare and rejected on it. Possibly there was a time when this hadith was acted upon. Possibly there was a time when this hadith was acted upon. But due to the deficiencies surrounding this hadith, according to the muhaddithin, they don't deem this hadith fit to be made amal upon. Now this again is a group of scholars. We're not going to be biased and say the Shafi madhab is not based upon strong adillah. They are based upon strong adillah as well. They have their own evidences, probably more and over and above this. This is just one of the adillah. Okay? Again, when we are talking about the madahib, we speak regarding all of them in an equal manner, in such a way that it doesn't make a person doubt that they're not upon adillah. They are upon adillah, we are upon adillah. We are upon our usul, they are upon their usul. Okay? All of them are correct in their own way. Okay? There's no need to make remarks against another madhab. Okay? There's no need at all. Especially as scholars, we must understand more. Okay? Especially as students of knowledge, we must never learn to criticize a madhab like that. But the point is that this hadith, according to our scholars, and many of the Shafi'i scholars and the Hanbali scholars and the Maliki scholars, they deem this hadith weak, and we take that opinion, that we take this hadith to be ma'lul, to be defective, even though it's narrated in Abu Dawood, even though it's narrated in Nasa'i, even though it's narrated in Tirmidhi, even though it's narrated in Ibn Majah, even though it's narrated in Musnad Imam Ahmad. So this hadith is authentic, 100% authentic according to a lot of people. It's not that it can't be authentic, it is authentic according to some. But according to many others, they refute this hadith to be authentic on the basis of the text of the hadith as well as the matan of the hadith, as well as the sanad of the hadith. Sorry. Next hadith we go on to, and this next hadith clearly goes against the hadith previous. So this shows there's a problem in this previous hadith as well. وعن عبد الله بن عمرو. So you must be very clear that waw, when you have that waw, you must read it as Amr, not Abdullah ibn Umar. Umar is without the waw after the ra. Okay, Abdullah ibn Amr radiyallahu anhu قال إذا بلغ الماء 40 قلة لم ينجس. If the water reaches the amount of 40 qullas, 40 measurements, 40 buckets or whatever they used to use. Okay. رواه الدارقطني وإسناده صحيح. Now here, إسناده صحيح, here you'll see there's two narrations. Ibn Daqiq al-Eid, al-Maliki al-Shafi'i, there's probably a Maliki scholar, then he turned Shafi'i. Like Imam Tahawi, he was a Shafi'i scholar, he turned into Hanafi. It's permissible. It's not that it's not permissible to change madhab, but it is not something which was that common. There were many great scholars that done that, went from one madhab to another madhab, but this is after years and years of research, after years and years of training in that madhab. So they knew this madhab as well as the other madhab inside out, with the usul and with the adillah. Okay, then only did they make that jump. And some scholars, they knew, like they were allowed to give fatwa from many madhabs at once, because they were known to have studied each and every single madhab from the absolute basics to the highest of the high. Okay, they were given ijaza from their muftis, give fatwa on this madhab as well as that madhab. So he studied under Hanafis, he studied under Shafis, he studied under Malikis. He's got the ijaza to give fatwa on the Hanafi madhab as well as the Shafi madhab as well as the Malik madhab. But then at the end you'll see that they still prefer the madhab that they follow. Okay? It's not that they'll mix and match. They'll never mix and match. Mix and match is a total new idea that came about. Okay? Mix and match never existed. وعن ابن عباس, this hadith. So Ibn Daqiq al-Eid, he says this hadith is sahih. This وعن ابن عباس رضي الله عنه, the previous hadith, the hadith which mentions 40 qullas. 40 qullas. Now, what are we trying to do? We are saying that the 2 qullas is not correct. Okay? Now he brings another hadith to say 40 qullas. So what about this hadith? Ya Shafi'i. You understand? So this is what he's doing. He's saying, look, this hadith mentions 40 qullas, and this hadith is also sahih. This hadith is sahih. According to Ibn Daqiq al-Eid, he says this is sahih. Al-Bayhaqi in his Sunan al-Kubra considered this narration of Daraqutni to be sahih. The 40 qullah hadith to be sahih. Tabari in his Tahdhib al-Athar narrated a similar hadith. Now, these two narrations, if you go to the just after Abdullah ibn Amr, the narration of the first and the second are all trustworthy narrators, as mentioned in the biographies of Tahdhib al-Kamal and Tahdhib al-Tahdhib. Okay, these are two large works of narrators of hadith. Likewise, Ibn Abi Shayba in his Musannaf narrated a hadith with similar meaning from Waqi' ibn al-Jarrah. Waqi' ibn al-Jarrah, he was like a hujjah in hadith. He was like a hujjah in hadith. Hujjah means a proof and evidence in Sharia. He was so strong when it came to hadith narration, and he was the ustad of Imam Shafi'i. We all know that. Waqi' ibn al-Jarrah, he was one of the highest caliber of narrators of hadith. From Sufyan al-Thawri, who narrated from Muhammad ibn al-Munkadir from Abdullah ibn Amr. So we have three narrations approximately. Two in one in Sunan al-Kubra, another one in Ibn Bashir, Daruqutni. Two narrations, two different narrations with two different sanads to prove the 40 qullas. Plus, there's another narration in Musannaf Ibn Abi Shayba, third hadith. Okay, we've got three hadiths to prove that this hadith, Arba'in Qulla, is definitely authentic. And it's been authenticated by Ibn Daqiq al-Eid as well as At-Tabari as well as Al-Bayhaqi. So there's no doubt. There's no doubt about the authenticity of this narration of 40 qullas. Then we go on to the next hadith. وعن ابن عباس رضي الله عنه. This is why I said you need to know what is for you and what is against you. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in these narrations. You need to know your fiqh very well. وعن ابن عباس رضي الله عنه أن امرأة من أزواج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اغتسلت من جنابة فتوضأ النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بفضله. بفضلها is supposed to be. But this is a mistake, printing mistake. بفضلها. فذكرت ذلك له. فقال إن الماء لا ينجسه شيء. رواه أحمد وفي إسناده لين. Okay? وفي إسناده لين. Certain printing mistakes, fine. You have to be a bit watchful when it comes to reading. So here, this hadith mentions that Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, that one of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed ghusl from janaba, from the major ritual impurity, after having relations. Then the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed with the leftover water. So not of the water, but of the leftover water that was left inside the bucket. Okay. Back in the days, they used to make ghusl from bucket. Okay, they would take water out, and as we're going to see in the hadith, that when you're in janaba, you can't go inside the bucket. Okay, you can't put your hand inside the bucket immediately, because if you do that, then your whole body has janaba on you. So immediately, when you put your hand inside the bucket without the jug, what you're going to do? You're going to make all the water impure, because there's a small amount of water. All of it's going to become impure. So first, you have to take water out with a jug, wash your hands. This was the sunnah of Rasulullah. And then you can scoop up water, no problem. Then you can scoop up water because your hands are clean now. So this hadith, although authentic, here Imam Ibn Hajar al-Haythami, Majma' al-Zawaid, one of the greatest books ever written in history, it compiled all the hadiths from the 6 largest hadith books ever existing. One of them was Musnad Imam Ahmad, Musnad al-Bazzar, Musnad Imam Ahmad. I don't remember all the 6, okay? But the 6 big Tabarani, the Mu'jam al-Kabir of Tabarani, Mu'jam al-Awsat of Tabarani, and many other books, okay? He compiled the 6 biggest books without repetition in one hadith book. Okay, so there's approximately 20,000 narrations that don't exist inside the Kutub al-Sittah. So 20,000 narrations inside that hadith book, Majma' al-Zawaid. For students of knowledge, this is gold. This is gold. So approximately nearly 20,000 hadith, not exactly 20,000 hadith, nearly 20,000 hadith. Not all of it is authentic, of course. Not all of it is authentic, but majority of it is authentic. Okay. Now, he compiled 6 of the biggest books, encyclopedic books. He took all the narrations from those books. Not all so because he's like, in his time, in the 8th century, he saw that Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi, Abu Dawud, Nasai, Ibn Majah is in all 4 corners of the globe. You know, Everyone's studying it, everyone knows it, every student studies it with his sheikhs, he's got sanad of it. But what about all the other hadiths inside all these big books? Who's going to study this? Who's going to know about these books? Who's going to know about all these sahih hadith that exist other than Bukhari and Muslim? So he compiled this book to make aware of the students, and he deleted the sanads. What he done is he gave a ruling after each hadith, or after each chapter, he would give the rulings of the hadiths, or he would make a comment on, like, for example, the rawi, the narrator. This narrator in this hadith is problematic, or this hadith, this narrator is known to be a mudallis, or that narrator is known to make mistakes in error, memory, when narrating hadith, stuff like that. So he'll make comments like that, or he'll say this hadith is sahih. Just say this hadith is sahih. So you don't need to make authentication after that. He's already telling you that this hadith is sahih. So according to him, now there were different gradings. Ulama, there were different. Some ulama were very strict when it came to grading hadith. That we'll go on to, inshallah, when we do mustalah al-hadith, lessons specifically. Some ulama were more stricter than others. Ibn Hajar al-Haythami, he was one of those moderate ones. Wasn't too strict and he wasn't too lenient when it came to grading hadith. So Ibn Hajar al-Haythami in Majma' al-Zawaid, he says the narrators are trustworthy. Whereas Al-Hazimi, this is not Hazami, this is wrong. You might want to correct it, those who have the book. Hazimi. Hazimi was one of the great scholars that wrote on the authenticity of the books of hadith. He was very well-known scholar, Al-Hazimi. Said that this is not known except from the narration of Simak ibn Harb, who narrates from Ikrimah. Who narrates from Ikrimah. Ibn Madini, another great scholar, Ibn Madini said that his narration from Ikrimah is mudtarib. What is mudtarib? The translator translated for you. What did he translate as? Shaky. What does shaky mean? If you don't come to an ustad, what's going to happen? You're going to be understanding it. Mudtarib, every time mudtarib comes up, you're going to say it's shaky. What does shaky mean? A hadith al-mudtarib, according to the scholars of hadith, means a hadith that has conflicting narrations which are all authentic. Conflicting narrations which are all authentic. So we don't know what to take and what to leave. Like the hadith of Jabir in Bukhari. In some narrations it mentions in one way, in other narrations it mentions in another way. Like, for example, in one narration it mentions that Rasulullah gifted it back after he bought it. In another narration it mentions that he didn't sell it, but it was given by Jabir radiallahu anhu. Stuff like that, Many other narrations like that. This is called the hadithun mudtaribun. Mudtaribun with a dad. Mim, dad, ta, ra, ba. Mudtaribun. So, meaning problematic. Our simple understanding is problematic. Meaning there's conflicting narrations of sahih narrations, but because of the differences in the meaning that occur in different narrations, we will not set a full grading to that hadith. It's a confusing hadith. Muftarib literally means someone who's confused. Someone who's confused. That's the literal meaning. Haqiqatan, that's what it means. So Ibn Hajar in Taqrib al-Tahdhib says, truthful, though the narration of Ikrimah are quite shaky. There's ittirab in it. Imam Bukhari in Raf'ul Yadayn, Juzu Raf'ul Yadayn, Abu Dawud, Nasa'i, Tirmidhi, Ibn Majah, they recorded his hadith in their books with that chain of narration. Al-Dhahabi in his Muqidha. Muqidha is a very nice book. It's a very nice small book. It's only like 50 pages. It's a very nice book on Mustalah al-Hadith by Imam Dhahabi himself, by the Don himself. Muqidha fi ilmi Mustalah al-Hadith. This is, there's a mistake there. The T is missing there. Mustalah al-Hadith. So Imam al-Dhahabi, he grades the Sahih Hadith into three categories. Meaning, if it comes from the narration of Imam Malik and Nafi and Ibn Umar, then this is the highest grading according to Imam al-Dhahabi. This is according to Imam al-Dhahabi, in his Muqidha. So he grades Sahih Hadiths according to different narrations, different chain of narrators. So when Imam Malik narrates from Nafi and Ibn Umar, this will be the highest form of, according to Imam al-Dhahabi, will be the highest form of hadith in the Sahih sense. In the sense that it is absolutely Sahih of the highest category. Then the second category of Sahih is a hadith narrated by Ma'mar from Hammam from Abu Hurairah. Ma'mar from Hammam from Abu Hurairah. This is the second category of Sahih. And the lowest category of Sahih Hadith is Simak and Ikrimah and Ibn Abbas. Radiyallahu anhu. This is the third category of Sahih. That's the last line there for you guys, yeah? You can highlight that or underline it if you want. So again, this hadith is authentic and it is allowed to use the remnant water that's left over from a woman, even if she's had a ghusl from janaba, because that water itself hasn't touched janaba. Okay, that water itself there's no karaha in it as well. Okay, there's no karaha in it. A male can use the leftover water of a female. Female can use the leftover water of a male. There's no problem in that. وعن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه قال قيل يا رسول الله أتتوضأ من بئر بضاعة وهي بئر يطرح فيها لحوم الكلاب والحيض والنتن. Not nutun. Nutan. It's natin. Okay, in Arabic it's natinun. فقال الماء طهور لا ينجسه شيء. رواه الثلاثة وآخرون وصححه أحمد وحسنه الترمذي وضعفه ابن قطان. Here, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, it was asked, do you make wudu from the bi'ri buda'a, from this specific well, this well of buda'a? And it is the well which all this filth is thrown, filth like luhumul kilab, the meat of dog meat is thrown inside there. Menstruation, blood and everything is thrown inside there, inside that well. And all this other najasa, natin means all this other type of stench. Okay? Literal meaning of natin is stench, something smelling. فَقَالَ الْمَاءُ طَهُورٌ لَا يُنَجِّسُهُ شَيْءٍ. Here Rasulullah says that the water is pure, nothing impurifies it. Now this is regarding a huge amount of water. This is regarding a huge amount of water. This is why I said this in the beginning of the lesson. You must understand what hadith is coming for what. The first hadith we narrated, it was regarding a small amount of water. This hadith is regarding a large amount of water. So when there is a huge amount of water, and we gave the description according to the Hanafi jurists, then in that case, that water will not become impure. So for example, a huge river, massive river, yeah, if the haram things fall inside it, does the water become impure? As long as you can't see the najasa, the water is pure. The water is pure. You can make wudu in it, you can make ghusl in it, there's no problem in it. But if you can see the najasa itself, then of course you have to avoid it. It's not going to be the place where you can make wudu from. You're going to have to go to another place where you can't see any najasa. If the najasa is so overwhelming that there's no scoop that is taken from the water, except that najasa filth is coming onto your hands, then that water is not, even if it's a river, okay, even if it's a river, then that water cannot be used. Okay, cannot be used. Again, I said I'm going to keep the fiqh notes to a minimum, but it's needed. Okay, it's needed. Otherwise, you're going to be confused. لا ينجسه شيء رواه الثلاثة وآخرون وصححه أحمد وحسنه الترمذي وضعفه ابن قطان. Here, this hadith, a lot of scholars made. They said it's authentic. They said it's authentic. Ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi, Ibn Qudama in his Mughni. Mughni is one of the biggest, largest encyclopedia fiqh according to the Hanbali madhab. Okay, he normally mentions all the four madhabs and their dalils. And then of course he's going to refute the Hanafis, Malikis and Shafi'is, and he's going to make it like the Hanbalis are the winning here. Okay, but it's a lovely book. It's a lovely, amazing book. It's nice to see another perspective. Even for students, you shouldn't be closed-minded. Open your mind to other madhahib and their evidences and how they look at evidences. Sometimes they look at evidences in a different way. Okay, looking at hadith evidences, we said that it's only one way. It's one tariqah of looking at hadith evidences. Not only is it from that aspect that we're looking at it from. We're looking at it from specifically from a chain perspective here in this class. Whereas they will look at it from different aspects, not just the chain. Okay. So Ibn Qudama in his Mughni, Ibn Taymiyyah in Majmu' al-Fatawa, Ash-Shawkani in his Nail al-Awtar, all mentioned that. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal also considered it Sahih. Tirmidhi also called it Hasan. Okay. Yahya ibn Ma'in, Al-Hazm, I'm not sure who's, I think it's Hazimi, is referring to Hazimi. Al-Hakim considered it to be Sahih. However, Imam al-Zayla'i in Nasb al-Raya, the one who sourced all the hadith of Kitab al-Hidayah, the Hanafi madhab, what does he say? Let's see what he says. He says, Ibn Qattan considered it weak. Okay? Here, Ibn Qattan considered it weak. Because the narrator narrating from Abu Sa'id was unknown, was majhul. Majhul. When the hadith is narrated from a majhul person, automatically that hadith goes to a level of da'if, jiddan in fact. Okay? Da'if jiddan, where you can't use it for evidence. Where you can't use it for evidence. Now this is what we say. Although there are, look at the justice of the Hanafi scholars. He mentioned who said this hadith is authentic. We're not denying that there are some scholars like Imam Ahmad, like Ibn Qudama, like Ibn Taymiyyah that authenticated this hadith. Yes, they did authenticate this hadith, but there are other scholars like Ibn Qattan, who is of the highest category of muhaddithin in the earliest. This is Ibn Qattan is from the teachers of Imam al-Bukhari, teachers and teachers' teachers. Okay, Ibn Qattan, he's saying this hadith is weak because there's a narrator who, Abu Sa'id, was unknown, with the narrators differing on his name and the name of his father. So you can't take, according to the rules of hadith, Mustalah al-Hadith, you cannot take from a narrator that is majhul or he's not fully known, because you don't know who you're taking the hadith from. Okay? If this Abi Sa'id, one of the narrators, is majhul, then you're not allowed to take the whole hadith, because the whole hadith becomes batil. Okay? Whole hadith becomes da'if jiddan. Da'if jiddan, we know, you cannot be used. Cannot be used. So, this hadith, Imam Shafi'i, he would say this is talking about a large amount of water. We would say that it's a well. Therefore, we consider because a well generally is small at the top. Even though it's huge at the bottom, it's small at the top. This is why we say it won't be permissible. If najasa was to be thrown inside there, it won't be permissible for you to use this. So this hadith, according to Hanafis, we won't use this. We won't use this to mean that it is a large amount of water, because our condition is minimum 10 by 10, and the water, when you scoop it out with two hands, the bottom of the water must not be seen. It has to be that deep. Basically, 1 arm length, 1 meter by 9 meters times 9 meters. Okay, that's what it. Next hadith. وعن عطاء أن حبشيا وقع في زمزم فمات فأمر ابن الزبير رضي الله عنه فنزح ماؤها فجعل الماء لا ينقطع فنظر فإذا عين تجري من قبل الحجر الأسود فقال ابن الزبير حسبكم رواه الطحاوي وابن أبي شيبة وإسناده صحيح. Now this, what's the dalil for this? This hadith, he brings it because in order to show us that when a person dies inside water, inside, let's say, a huge pond or something, that person has to be taken out, especially inside a well. That person, the dead person, has to be taken out. Thereafter, the well itself has to be cleaned. The well itself has to be cleaned. So here, an Ethiopian man fell into the Zamzam water well. When he fell inside, Ibn Zubayr radiallahu anhu, he ordered that the person, the dead person, be taken out, and then the water be completely emptied. All the water inside the well be emptied. But as soon as they tried to empty all the well, it gushed out forth onto them. So then Ibn Zubayr said, it's enough. Meaning you've tried your best to empty the whole water as much as you could to the best of your ability. Now the water that's going to come out is fresh water. Now the water that's going to come out is fresh water. It's clean. Okay? None of the remnants of the other water is left. So this is the hadith. And this hadith is narrated by Imam al-Tahawi in his Sharh Ma'ani al-Athar, Ibn Abi Shayba. And the narration is Sahih. Here we can, if you go to footnote number 12, Ibn Abi Shayba in his Musannaf, he narrates from Hushaym ibn Bashir, from Mansur ibn Za'zan, or Zazan, probably Zazan. Okay, Ata ibn Abi Rabah. All of the narrators are from the Kutub Sitta, from the Sihah Sitta. Okay, all these narrators, Hushaym ibn Bashir, Mansur ibn Zadan, Ata ibn Abi Rabah, all three narrators are from those that narrated hadith is inside the 6 books: Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi, Abu Dawud, Nasai, Ibn Majah. Okay, they narrated in all the hadith books. This is to qualify and to tell you, the muhaddith is mentioning this in order to tell you that there's no doubt about the authenticity of this hadith. Okay, meaning all these narrators are narrating from Kutub al-Sittah. These are the narrators of the Kutub al-Sittah. You cannot reject their hadith. No way can you reject their hadith. Here, he mentions another point. Then he mentions, though Hushaym, look at the justice, yeah? Look at the justice. Though Hushaym ibn Bashir is a mudallis. Mudallis is someone that says an. So when you say an in Arabic, it says from that person. It can be directly from that person or it can be indirectly from that person. You might have heard it directly or indirectly. Now, a mudallis is someone who, he heard it indirectly, maybe from the students of that teacher, but he says from the teacher. So for example, you as the student listening to me, you say, an Zamil. An Zamil. An Ustad Zamil. Yeah? You heard it directly from me. But there's narrators that are well known to not have heard it from the teacher directly, but they say an Zamil directly. From their teacher, they say directly an Zamil. But they actually didn't hear that hadith directly. Look at the authentication that the muhaddithin went through to take out every single individual that narrates hadith. One by one, sift them to such an extent that even if you didn't hear this many hadiths, 2, 3, 4 hadiths from the ustad directly, they'd catch you out. They'd catch you out. This is MI6 page. This is MI6 page. Subhanallah. Anyway, so all the here, Imam Tahawi in Sharh Ma'ani al-Athar, he says similar chain of narration is mentioned by Salih ibn Abdul Rahman, Sa'id ibn Mansur, Hushaym ibn Bashir. Then he says Salih ibn Abdul Rahman is considered truthful by Ibn Abi Hatim in Jarh wa Ta'dil, in the book Jarh wa Ta'dil by Ibn Abi Hatim. As for Sa'id ibn Mansur, his narrations are found in all Kutub al-Sittah, all the 6 books of Hadith. So there is no doubt in the narration of Sa'id bin Mansur. And Salih ibn Abdul Rahman has been authenticated. Sa'id bin Mansur, we spoke about, yeah? Khair, inshallah. So then the next hadith is very similar. It doesn't mention about Ethiopian, it just mentions a dark person that fell inside the well and he passed away. And then here Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said to remove the person who passed away and then to empty out all the water from the well in order to purify it, in order to clean the well. And when they cleaned it out, of course, it gushed forth onto them. And he said, enough, it's enough. Like, clean the well now. You don't need to take any more water out. Okay? So if a person dies inside the well or a large animal dies, okay, inside the well, like a cow, like a buffalo, it goes inside, it dies, or an animal bloats, for example, then all of the water inside the well must be taken out, according to us, Hanafis, okay? If a small mouse dies, for example, then they say that mouse should be taken out, and after that, 20 buckets at least must be cleaned out from its surrounding. So at least we know that that water, or its surrounding water, has been cleaned out. Okay, and then they've got different conditions. If a chicken dies, all these different conditions, but all of that is deduced from these hadiths. For you to understand that as a student of Hanafi fiqh, when you study that chapter of Tahara, they're taken from these hadiths. When a person died inside a well, when this died, for example, next hadith, وعن ميسرة أن عليا رضي الله عنه قال في بئر. Here there's no اختلاف. Here there's no اختلاف. That's why I'm just saying it. وعن ميسرة أن عليا رضي الله عنه قال في بئر وقعت فيها فأرة فماتت قال ينزح ماؤها. رواه الطحاوي وإسناده حسن. Here Imam Tahawi mentions with his chain from Maysara, from Ali رضي الله عنه, that mouse died inside a well. Ali radiallahu anhu ordered the water of the well to be taken out, be emptied completely. So this is, again, the point is that all of these are based on narrations. So the ulama, when they came and deduced the laws and they give you the fiqh, They don't just say 20 buckets and 40 buckets and 60 buckets and 100 buckets and emptying the whole well for no reason. Okay, they say because of these narrations. Because of these narrations. So again, this hadith is authentic. It is reported in this last one, number 11. If you go to the footnote number 14, Imam Tahawi in his Sharh Ma'ani al-Athar, this hadith is from Muhammad ibn Khuzaymah, from Hajjaj ibn Manahil, from Hammad ibn Salama, from Ata ibn Sa'ib. Ata ibn Sa'ib, he's a narrator of Bukhari, but Bukhari takes from his hadith very carefully. He takes those ahadiths because Ata ibn Sa'ib at the end of his life, his memory got weak. His memory got weak. Although he is a narrator of Bukhari, but the hadiths in his later life wasn't accepted by Imam Bukhari and by the muhaddithin because he used to make mistakes. He used to make mistakes. It's like Ibn Lahi'a. Ibn Lahi'a was the same. When his books burnt, after his books burnt, his narrations were all mixed up, muddled up. He used to put this matan with that sanad and that sanad with this matan because he was a scholar of book, kitabi. He wasn't based on memory. Okay, there were some scholars, muhaddithin, that used to base their narrations on their memory power, like Imam Bukhari. You know, there was other scholars like Ibn Abi Lahi'a and many others. They would base it upon their kitaba. So whatever they wrote from their ustad, that's what they're going to rely upon. That's it. Okay, they're not going to change. They're going to make sure that this is preserved to the maximum ability of theirs. Okay, and they're going to narrate only from there. They're not going to narrate from the top of the head. So Hamad ibn Salama took from Ata before he became weak, according to Allama Nimawi. So this was the first journey when he went to Basra, as mentioned here. Okay, this was taken on the first journey from when he went to Al-Basra. Ibn Jarud said that when Sufyan, Shu'bah, Hammad ibn Salama narrate from, so he's making it very clear that Ibn Jarud said, Sufyan, Shu'bah, Hammad ibn Salama narrate from, their narrations are good. The narrations are good. Nasa'i, Abu Dawud, Ibn Majah narrated the hadith through Hammad ibn Salama from Ata. Okay, this is very clear that Abu Dawud, Nasa'i, Ibn Majah, all three of them accept the narration of Hammad from Hammad ibn Salama from Ata ibn Sa'ib. Ata ibn Sa'ib, not Ata ibn Rabah. Ata ibn Rabah is the Mufti of Makkah. It's a different Ata. This is the narrator, which is Ata ibn Sa'ib. Okay, Al-Kalbi. Ata ibn Sa'ib Al-Kalbi. Banu Kilab, from the tribe of Kilab. Then we go on to the chapter of Abwabun Najasat, sections on impurities, the remnants of water drunk by a cat. Now, according to us, according to the Hanafis, any water which is left over by a cat is makruh. Is makruh. It is not haram for you to use that water. It is disliked because some narrations come in the sense that they are from those animals which run around inside the house, come and go from the house. And there's other narrations which mention that you have to wash it, that you have to wash it. So therefore, Imam Abu Hanifa, he combined between all the hadiths and he said, this is the most best way that we can combine all the hadiths and act upon all the hadith. So, عن كبشة بنت كعب بن مالك وكانت عند ابن أبي قتادة أن أبا قتادة رضي الله عنه دخل عليها قالت فسكبت له وضوءا قالت فجاءت هرة. So basically what happened is the wife of Abu Qatada, she gave some wudu water to her husband Abu Qatada. When she gave the water, a cat came thirsty, wanting to drink the water. Abu Qatada, he gave the water for the cat to drink. She was looking at his face like, what are you doing with that water? You know, I gave you that water for you to make wudu, but you let the cat come and drink that same water. How? You know, she was amazed. She's like, how could you do that? She thought that the leftover water of the cat is impure. Okay, so here he replied that no. فرآني أنظر إليه فقال أتعجبين. You know, are you amazed at what I'm doing? ابنة خالتي, she was a cousin brother, she was a cousin sister of his. فقلت نعم. فقال إن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إنها ليست بنجس. Surely it is the leftover water of the cat is not najis, is not impure. إنما هي من الطوافين عليكم أو الطوافات. Verily, it is from those animals which come and go from the house. Come and go from, frequent the house. Come and go from the house. It makes tawaf in the house, basically. Okay, literal meaning, makes tawaf in the house. Rawahul Khamsa. Now, this is not the literal tawaf, okay? Nobody can take ideas here. Rawahul Khamsa. Otherwise, we're going to have other people bashing us. Rawahul Khamsa wa sahahahu at-Tirmidhi. Now, here, Rawahul Khamsa, what does he mean by Rawahul Khamsa? Abu Dawud, Nasa'i, Tirmidhi, Ibn Majah, and Imam Ahmad. Okay? And Imam Tirmidhi said this hadith is sahih, according to his grading. Normally, when you say Rawahul Khamsa, you refer to Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi, Abu Dawud, Nasa'i, not Ibn Majah. You exclude Ibn Majah. But here, according to the terminology of Imam Allama Muhaddith al-Nimawi, he says, his terminology, when he says Rawahul Khamsa, refers to Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, Nasa'i, Ibn Majah, and Imam Ahmad. Not including Bukhari and Muslim. Okay, he's not including Bukhari and Muslim. So you must be very careful when you're reading these terminologies. Each and every single scholar that you study, you must understand what he means. Like we explained the terminology of Hasanun Sahih of Imam Tirmidhi. This is very important, very important. Otherwise, you're going to be going through a hadith and you're going to be like, I don't know what Imam Tirmidhi is meaning by this, all the way through. That's what happens to many students in Dawrah Hadith. They don't know what's happening. Hasanun Sahih, Hasanun Sahih. We'll continue next week. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.
الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.